Now we come to this morning's real highlight. We're very pleased to welcome Thomas G. Morr, who's the President and CEO of Select Greater Philadelphia. And he's got some really tremendous things to tell us about our area and what his vision for our future is. Tom?
Thank you, Steve. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
That's pretty good. I see Barry Seymour is over here from DVRPC. Wanted to acknowledge his being there, and I'm delighted to be here with you this morning. And I was thinking as I was sitting there, some of you may know I came from the Washington, D.C. area. In Washington, D.C., we have here we have a rush hour, and without you, what would it be like if you hadn't been working at this for 20 years? But I've got to tell you, in Washington, we have a rush 3.5 hours. So keep up the good work because we're going to need it. Let's see if I can do this. Let me take a few minutes and say some things about our region. For some of you who may not know, Select Greater Philadelphia is a regional economic development marketing organization. And we market a tri-state metropolitan area. 11 counties, roughly 6,000 or 4,000 square miles. It is, prior to Select's formation, we tended to market this region by area. In other words, we would market the 5 southeastern counties in Pennsylvania, and they're important. But when you do that, as a region, we rank somewhere between 15th and 20th among the major cities in the United States. When you add the other parts of what is a natural economy to our region, the 5 counties in southern New Jersey and the Newcastle County in Delaware, we move up the food chain to somewhere between 4th and 7th on almost any metric you look at. So we're a much more powerful community when you look at it as a natural economy. In fact, I tell people, go up on Google Earth and take yourself up high enough and look down at where the landmass from the urban core wanders off into farmland. That defines sort of the outer boundary of the greater Philadelphia region. There we go. You know where we are, midway between the most powerful markets in the United States. The financial markets, or at least they used to be the financial markets in New York, and the political capital of the country in Washington. And what I sell to companies all the time is the fact that that location is very powerful. The red arc that you see on this slide is a radius of 200 miles from where we're sitting. And we did the same analysis for all the major markets in the country. And when you do that, what you find is, Liz, there we go, that we are second only to New York in terms of the size and power, if you will, economic power of our catchment area. There are 46 million people that live within 200 miles of us. They generate $1.46 trillion in annual economic output. Only Manhattan has a slightly higher catchment area, if you will, than Philadelphia. And if you notice, all of the major markets there are in the Northeast U.S., which makes sense because this country largely grew from east to west. So it's a very powerful market. Within the market, that 11-county region has a population of 6 million people, a gross regional product of about $355 billion a year, just under 3 million people employed, and personal income of 277 million. Very powerful economic market. Now this slide in my mind is one of the most important in my entire deck, because what it tells you is how we've changed. If you look at the bars below the line in the gray and the red, and the gray are the period 1990 to 2008, and the orange bars are a projection going forward from 2008 to 2026. Basically what you see is the end of the decline of the old industrial base of Philadelphia. We were one of the major centers of economic power in the Industrial Revolution, and up to 1950 were a very heavily dominated by manufacturing. The national average in 1950 of manufacturing jobs was about 30%. Today it's 10%. In 1950, the average here was somewhere closer to 35 to 38%. We had a higher concentration of manufacturing than the nation as a whole. Today, it's less than the national average at 7.8%. So for those people who watch those manufacturing jobs in steel and clothing and machine screws and locomotives and so on go someplace else, it was a very painful transition. But when you look at the right-hand side of this chart, what you see is what we are today. This is a knowledge-driven service economy. We're the capital of the pharmaceutical industry. We're a major player in IT, in healthcare, in advanced manufacturing. We make 5 different kinds of helicopters or rotorcraft here. It's a major, we build satellites, we do defense electronics, a much more sophisticated economy than what we had 60 years ago. Let me talk a bit about our strongest sector. We hired the Milken Institute last year to do an analysis of the life science sector, and that includes healthcare, pharmaceuticals, devices, diagnostics, and so on. And what they found is, across the nation, we are number 1 in terms of the current economic impact in the life science sector. And for the first time, we're number 1 in terms of the human capital, the college graduates and the people who are in occupations that support the life science sector. That drives the people in Boston just crazy, if that's the case. We're number 3 in terms of the pipeline of innovation. We're number 9 in terms of small business vitality, which was a metric we added to the study this past year, which looked at new business formation in life sciences. And we're number 2, moving up from number 3 overall in terms of the composite impact of the life science sector on this region. What does that mean? We moved ahead of San Francisco as a major life science sector, and we are only just a little bit behind Boston in terms of that. In fact, had we not added the Small Business Vitality Index, we would have been number 1 in the country in terms of the original ranking that they did. What did we learn? We learned that 94,000 people are directly employed in the life science sector here, that 1 in every 6 jobs, or 380,000 jobs, is in some way tied to the life science sector, generating $20 billion in earnings in this region and a total output of almost $40 billion in impact, roughly 15% of all of the region's economic impact. You can see that as you drive out the 422 corridor. You see the old Wyeth headquarters, now Pfizer, the Merck facility, and other things like that. But we're more than life sciences. We have 156,000 people employed in the information technology business here. Right up the hill, in fact, is Lockheed Martin. They are the largest supplier of IT services to the U.S. government. And the 2 divisions that do that work are based here in the greater Philadelphia region.